Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Brad Stevens. There are now only just a few days left before voters head to the polls for the midterm election. America's votes will have a major impact across the country. The entire House of Representatives is on the ballot, along with a third of the Senate and 36 governors. On the Kansas side, all 125 state lawmaker seats are up for a vote, as well as governor. In Missouri, all the House seats and half the Senate seats are on the ballot. The fight for Missouri's Senate seat is heated, bitter, expensive, and getting a lot of national attention. Senator Claire McCaskill has held her office since 2007, but she faces a tough challenge against current Missouri Attorney General Josh Hawley. He criticizes her for staying too long in Washington and becoming an insider, but she says her experience is a good thing.
You know, I like to make the joke to people, can you imagine if they were wheeling you into the operating room and the nurse leaned down and said, I got really good news for you. This doctor has never done this before. You would go, well, whoa, wait a minute.
Hawley says Missouri needs someone who will get more done in Washington, D.C.
You know, Senator McCaskill has passed 5 bills that she's sponsored, 5 bills in 12 years. That's not a good record. That's somebody who's not doing her job very well. We need somebody who's going to go work at it, somebody who's going to go deliver for the state of Missouri and get things done.
Both candidates say the cost of health care is a priority for them. Hawley wants to do away with Obamacare while still protecting pre-existing conditions. McCaskill prefers to fix the current system. The entire nation is watching this race, and so is Dr. Greg Vanami, a political science professor at UMKC. Greg, thanks for coming in today. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
All right, let's talk about what both candidates were just talking about. Hawley has attacked Senator McCaskill's longevity in Washington, D.C., saying that's not a good thing. She counters with saying we need someone who has experience in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's part of Hawley's strategy to portray himself as the outsider, which has been a successful strategy, especially in 2016, and will probably carry over into 2018. Between that and aligning himself with the Trump administration, Republican voters in Missouri will be his main strategy. McCaskill's strategy will be to play up her resume, her experience, her expertise as a person. So it'll be less partisan for her and more on her record as an individual.
This race is so tight. It is obviously too close to call as we are now just a few days away from Election Day. How do we explain this? Why is this race a dead heat right now?
Missouri statewide has been trending in a Republican direction, so that works against McCaskill. But the reason that McCaskill ran so close, she's an incumbent. She is experienced running campaigns. She's run an effective campaign. And this is also a midterm election with a Republican president. Whenever there is a party that controls the presidency, they almost always lose seats in that midterm election, which is going to help Democrats nationwide, and especially in Missouri in this election cycle.
Well, we know President Trump and the White House has been no secret in campaigning for Josh Hawley in this particular race. How much of a help? I mean, we know President Trump carried the state of Missouri in the 2016 election, but how much of a boost can that give Hawley?
It's important for Hawley. Trump not only won Missouri in 2016, he remains popular among Missouri voters statewide, and especially among Republican voters, which Hawley is going to need to turn out in significant numbers in this election.
So as we take a look at it from the senator's position, what must she do to hang on to her seat?
She needs to turn out Democrats. So she needs to identify those core supporters, turn them out. It is looking like this is going to be a good election for women candidates, and it looks like women voters are especially mobilized nationwide. So making sure that information, that get out the vote effort is there, is going to be key for McCaskill. I also think she's going to be helped by the ballot initiatives that are on the Missouri ballot this year.
Well, it is going to be really fascinating to watch. It's been, you know, as we've mentioned, one of the closest races and getting attention from across the nation. Does that have any bearing, or do Missouri voters say, this is our race, we're not interested in what other people around the country think, let's focus on ourselves and focus on this race?
It raises the stakes, and it probably raises turnout statewide in Missouri. And part of the reason why it's attracted national attention is because control of the Senate, it looks like Republicans are probably going to maintain control of the Senate, but it's not something that they have locked up. So certainly if they can pick up Missouri, if Republicans can gain that seat, almost certainly they maintain control of the Senate nationwide. If McCaskill holds the seat, then it's it narrows the Republican window to maintain control of the Senate. And those national stakes certainly increase attention in Missouri to this race.
And that is why all eyes across the nation are on this race. Dr. Van Amme, thanks for your input. We're going to check back with you in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere.